Why do modern people prefer texting over calling? Why does a ringing phone feel like pressure, but a message on a screen feels like space? Why do some of us feel safer behind a few typed words than in the sound of our own voice? In this noisy, fast, demanding world, could it be that the quiet choice is not fear, but wisdom? Welcome to Live Stoic. Live strong, where we trade illusions for truth, where emotions are felt but not obeyed, where clarity is power and discipline is freedom. Discipline is freedom. Accent. It's a mindset. Accent. It's a journey of conscious living. Let's begin. The call he never made. There was a message Lucas never sent. He had written it. Once. Twice. Maybe more. Deleted it. Rewrote it. Stared at it. A short message. Just 2 lines. Nothing fancy. He didn't even know exactly what it would solve. But deep down, he felt it needed to be said. The message read, "I'm sorry. I miss you." It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't meant to stir sympathy or reopen wounds. It was simply the truth. Quiet, raw, unfinished. And yet, every time his thumb hovered over the send button, his chest tightened. What if they've moved on? What if my silence has already said too much? What if reaching out now only makes it worse? So like many other days, he closed the app, opened his calendar, focused on work. Lucas was always the dependable one. The man who showed up early, who delivered, who took care of everything and everyone, except, too often, himself. He didn't fear connection. He feared vulnerability. The kind that shakes your voice. The kind that strips you bare. The kind that says, "I still care," without hiding behind logic or humor or a screen. Hushmummer. That's why he chose texting. It gave him space. It gave him control. Time to think. Time to breathe. It helped him keep dignity intact. But slowly, that protection became habit. And habit became distance. And distance, if never crossed, eventually becomes farewell. Until one evening, out of nowhere, Lucas opened that same chat again. The screen was blank. The message still unsent. But this time, he didn't overthink. He didn't draft 5 versions. He didn't wait for the perfect words or the perfect moment. He just typed, "Hi, I hope you're okay." And this time, he sent it. Not because he was sure of the reply, but because sometimes, silence is not strength. Sometimes, strength is doing the smallest thing that your heart's been asking for, again and again. In that simple act, in that quiet click, Lucas didn't just reach out to someone else, he finally reached back to himself. From the bottom of my heart, I want to express my sincere gratitude to each and every one of you, no matter where you are in the world, for taking the time to watch this video. Your presence and support are the driving force that keeps me creating and sharing. No words can truly capture the depth of my appreciation. Thank you for being here. Thank you for believing. And thank you for walking this journey with me. Not all silence means avoidance. And not all brief replies signal apathy. In a time defined by urgency, noise, and overstimulation, there are those who deliberately choose the written word over the spoken one. Not out of fear alone, but out of clarity, respect for energy, and a desire to set emotional boundaries. Luciana Veras, a respected scholar of human behavior from the Republic of Astaria, observes that many people today aren't avoiding phone calls because they're timid or withdrawn. Rather, it's because they prefer order over chaos, clarity over confusion, and mental space over emotional immediacy. They are not afraid of connection, but they are mindful of how it happens. These are not excuses. They are reflections, honest, reasoned, and deeply human. Let's explore 4 reasons why. For some, texting isn't avoidance. It's a conscious, respectful, and emotionally intelligent way to communicate. 1. They prefer to reflect before speaking. The thoughtful pause. The measured reply. Some people value the space to think before they speak. Not to distance themselves, but to speak with care. Texting offers that space. It removes the pressure of an immediate response. It allows time to gather emotions, organize thoughts, and avoid reactive speech. It's not a delay tactic. It's an act of mindfulness. A 2022 study published in Computers and Human Behavior Reports, Netherlands, supports this insight. Researchers found that many people, especially those in emotionally complex relationships, turn to texting as a way to avoid misunderstandings or rash comments. In fact, a YouGov survey revealed that nearly 50% of respondents avoided phone calls not because of anxiety, but because they wanted to preserve calm and clarity. Still, reflection must not become a hiding place. While it's wise to take time before responding, constant retreat from live conversation can become a crutch. Growth doesn't happen in hiding. Growth comes from discernment, knowing when to pause, and knowing when to step forward and speak, even if imperfectly. 2. Conversation brings anxiety. A live call removes your armor. It demands presence. There's no time to revise, no screen to filter, no place to hide. For those with social anxiety or emotional sensitivity, this kind of real-time exposure can be overwhelming. Not because they don't care, but because they care deeply and fear misstepping. The stakes feel higher when there's tone, pace, silence, and no delete button. Modern psychological studies continue to highlight this pattern. People dealing with social stress or past emotional trauma often experience heightened tension around phone calls. It's not the person on the other end they fear, it's the moment itself. Yet ancient Stoic thought reminds us, true strength is forged in discomfort. Avoidance can offer short-term protection, but transformation only begins when we face what we fear with courage and calm. To speak, even if uncertain, is to practice emotional resilience. And that practice changes everything. So what happens when texting becomes more than just convenience, but a form of emotional architecture? There are still 2 deeper reasons why some continue to choose silence and the written word. Not as retreat, but as intention. Sometimes, what looks like distance is simply a full life trying its best to stay connected. Picking up from where we left off, many people don't avoid speaking out of fear, but because their time, their energy, and even their spirit are stretched thin. Let's continue with 2 more reasons why some choose text over voice, not out of neglect, but out of necessity. 3. Their lives are full, perhaps too full. No one can be everywhere at once. And yet, somehow, modern life insists that we try. Many of us are juggling more than we were ever meant to carry. Work that spills past the clock, family responsibilities that never pause, and obligations that fill even the quietest hours. In this endless motion, even a phone call can feel like one demand too many. Nelle. That's why, for those overwhelmed, texting becomes the more merciful option. It offers simplicity. It allows for quick, quiet replies in the middle of chaos. It keeps the thread of connection alive, without requiring full presence in moments where presence is already scarce. According to the American Psychological Association, texting is often the lesser disruption in our overbooked days. It lets communication weave between tasks, gently, instead of interrupting everything. But there's a shadow side. If messaging becomes the only form of contact, if we forget the power of voice, then slowly, without realizing, it's possible for closeness to fade beneath the illusion of connection. A relationship may appear intact, while underneath, it's starving for presence. Because sometimes, only a real voice can reach the parts a message never will. 4. Their energy is depleted. There is a fatigue that sleep cannot fix. And for those who carry that weight, who are tired not just in body but in soul, even speaking out loud can feel like lifting something heavy. This is not weakness. This is the cost of living out of alignment for too long. In these moments, texting becomes an act of quiet self-preservation. It says, "I'm still here, I still care, but I have very little left to give." And that whisper matters. But the Stoics would gently remind us, energy, though sacred, must not be hoarded. There is a time to guard it, to recover, and then, when the heart is ready again, there must also be a time to rise and speak. Texting is not lesser. It is simply different. It gives space. It allows thought. It carries restraint. But it cannot replace the human warmth of direct connection forever. To write with clarity is noble. To speak with courage is noble. But to know when to write and when to speak, that is wisdom. In a world that demands reaction, choose reflection. In a time that rushes, choose presence. When others speak to be heard, you speak to bring truth. Let silence sharpen you. Let speech honor you. And let how you communicate reflect who you are. Live with stillness. Speak with strength. Thank you for your time. If one idea touched you today, come back next time. It may reach deeper. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs a quiet moment. See you in the next video.